Hi, Stella Cousins. Happy Love Day. I hope you and your significant other have a great day. And to appreciate this day of love, let's get into some creepy Love Day horror stories, right? Right. So, obviously, Valentine's Day horror stories animated. Let's get into it right now. Get your blanket if you don't already.
My buddy Danny was dumped by his girl 2 days before Valentine's Day. Can you believe it? 2 days before the most romantic day of the year.
Poor Danny.
Me and my other two friends, who also happen to know Danny, decided to make his Valentine's Day better by planning a trip to a nearby coastal town in the countryside. One day before the 14th of February, Danny, Marcus, Edward, and myself started our small road trip. Our plan was simple. We were going to drive halfway to our destination on the 13th by Edward's car and stay in a motel for the night. On the morning of the 14th February, we were going to reach our destination and party hard. We started on the 13th as planned and reached our first stop by 8 p.m. We booked 2 rooms in a motel and left our rooms by 9:30 in the evening to grab dinner. The town we had stopped in was very small, with a few houses, a couple of shops, a motel, and a diner. After our dinner was over, we all decided to go for a walk in the town. As we were leaving the diner, Marcus approached the counter to pay our bill. Me, Danny, and Edward were chatting beside him, deciding where to go for a walk. That's when an old man sitting in a nearby booth spoke to us.
"You fellas going for a walk, eh?"
"Yes, sir. Anywhere nice we could walk up to?" Edward asked the man.
"Look at the town. Do you see anything nice here?
No.
Walk anywhere you want, but don't go near the house beyond the small creek. They say it's haunted. The house lures you in. Men who have entered it have gone crazy."
With that, the men left his booth and walked away. Nothing excites 4 young men like booze and a haunted house to explore. We had never been in this town before, and chances were we would never return. Edward and I were eager to go and see the house up close. Danny was a bit sad from the breakup, but the possibility of visiting a haunted house drained all the sadness of him. We walked through the town for maybe an hour or so, and finally reached the small creek. We could see a crumbled house just a few yards beyond the creek. The house had taken lots of hits from the passing seasons. Danny and I crossed the bridge over the creek and started walking toward the house with Edward and Marcus right behind us. We may have been a few yards away from the house when we saw a girl sitting on a boulder.
No.
She was really pretty, wearing a short skirt and a crop top. She was exactly my type, and by the look of it, not just me, but all my 3 friends were enamored by her too. Even Danny, who had just gone through a sad breakup. Edward was the only guy amongst us who has not been in a relationship for a long time. "Should I go talk to her, guys?" Edward asked us. "I don't know, man. I think it's a little weird she's sitting alone in front of a haunted house," Marcus commented.
Good job, Marcus.
When he said that, everyone became a bit skeptical of the situation. Looking at the girl, it seemed like she was waiting for someone. She was looking at us, and it felt like she wanted us to talk to her. But a part of me just wanted to leave the place and go back to the motel. "Guys, I think we should get back to our rooms. We have a busy day tomorrow. Let's just rest while we can." Surprisingly, all of them agreed and left the place. To be honest, I was a bit surprised that no one protested or said they wanted to explore the haunted house. We went to our room that night, around 1 a.m., and just crashed on our beds. The next day, we were all in the car only an hour away from our destination. Marcus was driving. Suddenly, Danny said out of nowhere, "Man, I think I should have spoken with the girl last night. She was damn beautiful."
Shut your ass up,
I forgot
Danny.
all about my breakup. "Yep, she was cute. Especially in that pantsuit. She looked smoking hot. Edward said. Pantsuit? Ed, I think she was wearing a skirt and top. You sure you weren't too sleepy? I asked Edward. What are you guys saying? She was wearing a floral sundress, and her blonde hair was up to her waist.
Blonde?
I think you both had too much booze at the diner, Marcus said to me and Edward. I don't know about all of you, but she was definitely not wearing a skirt top, or a pantsuit, or a sundress.
What she had on?
Neither did she have long blonde hair. As far as I remember, she was wearing skin-tight jeans and a t-shirt, and had short brown hair. She was so my type, Danny said, and we all exchanged a funny look. That's when I remembered what the old man at the diner had said to us. The house lures you in and drives you crazy. Guys, I think there was no girl there, I said. What do you mean, man? We all saw a girl there.
Nah, it was the house, Brody.
Danny asked me. No. As per the old man at the diner, the house lures people in and drives them crazy. Don't you guys think it was a bit odd that she was all alone near the haunted house so late at night? I think whatever haunts the house was trying to get us inside. Not to mention how we all saw a different girl, even though there was only one girl out there. The house showed us what we liked so that we would go and talk to the girl, and somehow the evil entity could harm us. Also, why did you all agree to go back to our rooms last night? Why did none of you insist on exploring the haunted house? I asked my friends. After a beat of dead silence, Marcus finally spoke. It felt odd, as if the atmosphere of the place was somehow heavier. It suffocated me in a way I couldn't explain, and that's why I agreed to leave. Me too, man. I felt the same way, said Edward, and Danny nodded in agreement. That's how I felt too, and that's the reason I asked you guys to leave. I confirmed. We dropped the topic after that, too scared to bring it up again. We continued on our trip and had a blast on Valentine's Day. But just imagining what would have happened to us if we would have spoken to the girl, let alone entered the house, sends chills through my body.
You would have got haunted.
It would have been a haunted Valentine's Day for us. Last year on Valentine's Day, my fiancée Rhea died in a car crash. She and I were engaged for 4 months and dating for 6 years. She was my high school sweetheart, and we were about to tie the knot in a few weeks. But her death devastated me. I was in depression for several months and found it hard to cope with her loss. Now I'm a lot better. My family and friends keep suggesting I start looking forward to loving again. I'm just 26 after all, and I have a long life ahead of me. It was the 13th of February, and I remember thinking that it would be exactly 1 year since Rhea died. But instead of dwelling on her loss, I decided to give this new girl I met in my office a try.
On Valentine's Day?
That evening, I came back home from work. I decided to cook myself dinner and go to bed. That's when I got a text. My first thought was that it must be from her, the girl I was going out with the next day, Serena. The text said, "I miss you, baby," and it was sent from Rhea's number. How was that possible? We disconnected her number a few months ago after her passing. How was I getting a text from her number? Did someone else get her number by chance? Yes, that must be the case. It's impossible to receive a message from her number otherwise. Dismissing the whole ordeal, I started with the dinner preparation. A few moments later, there was another message. This time it was a voice recording again from Rhea's number. Looks like the number was taken by a woman trying to get in touch with her lover. I must text her back and let her know this is the wrong number. Not to mention, seeing Rhea's name pop up on my phone after almost a year was a bit difficult for me. I didn't want to spiral into my depression again. Definitely not when I've struggled to get myself out of it in the first place. But it won't hurt to listen to the voicemail.
It will. It will.
I thought and played it.
Hi, babe. It's me, Rhea. I hope you haven't forgotten about me yet. I just wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day in advance. I know I couldn't wish you last time, given the circumstances. But I want you to know that I still love you.
Given the circumstances,
I could
bitch, you
forget
died.
everything in the world, but not that voice. It was Rhea. How was it possible? I had no words. Saying I was shocked would be an understatement. I didn't know what to do, and to be honest, I was a bit scared too.
As you should be.
I ignored the message and put my phone aside. I started with my dinner. Almost an hour passed without any new message. I plated my food and moved into the living room to turn on the TV. That's when my phone buzzes again. I was afraid to check the message, but I did it anyway. The name on my screen is Serena. I felt a bit relieved. It's the girl from work with whom I have a date tomorrow. The Rivera restaurant at 7 in the evening? Looked like Serena wanted to confirm our date. I texted her back that I would be there. A few seconds later, I got another text. Thinking it would be Selena's, I didn't check the name. I just opened the text. What the text said was unbelievable.
Probably said, why are you ignoring me?
Irreplaceable, Martin. Whoever was
Yikes.
texting me
Worse.
knew my name. This was definitely not a wrong number. This was intentional. These messages were meant for me. I ignored the message too, and ate dinner. However, I suddenly felt heavy for some reason, like there was someone except me in the room. It was weird, given I was the only one in my apartment. I watched my TV, but from the corner of my eye, I saw a black shadowy figure of a woman walking towards my bedroom. I thought I was hallucinating. Was this real? I knew the next day was going to be tough for me, so my mind was playing tricks on me. But just a few minutes later, from the corner of my eye, I again saw the woman walk out of my bedroom. Now, she was approaching the couch, but I was too terrified to turn and look at her. I was staring at the TV as she was coming near the couch.
If you don't do something, Martin,
she sat right beside me. A black shadow woman was right next to me on the couch, and I had no courage to look at her.
leave.
Why are you ignoring me?
That's when I turned. I had to. How could I not? That was the voice of Rhea.
Was it though?
But as soon as I turned, expecting it to be my dead fiancé, somehow there was a demonic entity that looked exactly like her, that had red, hollow eyes. She was wearing a black wedding dress, had a black veil over her face. The last thing I remembered was her haunting eyes staring at me as I passed out. Currently,
Didn't even get to
I'm
eat
in a
dinner.
hospital. My elder brother said that he found me in my apartment passed out on the couch on Valentine's Day. It's the 16th of February now, which means I passed out for 3 days. I tried
That's
to tell them what I
crazy.
saw, but none of them believed it. My doctors think I overdosed on my depression and sleeping pills and passed out, but I clearly remember not taking a single pill that day. So how is it possible? The more I try to convince my family that I saw Rhea's ghost that night, the more they all think that I'm going crazy. How can I be crazy? I don't understand why no one believes me. So to prove that I'm not lying or making it up, I asked for my brother to get my phone, but he said that my phone was lying on the floor next to me, broken, as if someone had smashed it in anger. I did not do that. But my family and the doctors say that maybe I was so depressed and angry that I may have smashed my own phone. This is all so confusing. Do you at least believe in my story? Or do you think I'm crazy too? Will I ever be able to have a happy Valentine's Day?
I mean, it was only a year, Martin. I feel like, in my opinion, if something happens to me on Valentine's Day and then my husband tried to, go on a date the next year, he might be haunted too. But that's just for me. These two were okay. but I want to keep this going. It's Valentine's Day. I want to see how scary it can get. So I'm going to tag the second video right here. Well, right here. It'll be like over here or like over there. Just make sure you tune in and watch it. Happy Valentine's Day, the day of love. And thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.